So I did the right thing last year, and I put my lawnmower away properly. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I'm coming clean. No, I left it outside. As soon as I was done using it, I shoved it in a spot, and there it sat through 7 degrees and multiple feet of snow. Many of you guys know up here in the Northeast, we got pummeled rain and fog, and I know a little bit of something about leaving machines out. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's my other garden, okay? So I use this lawn boy, and I'll tell you a bit about it as we get into the next segment, but I use this lawn boy mostly to grind up, like, my garden, my actual garden. Stuff grows, and then you grind it down, and if you leave it fallow or whatever for a period of time, and then you come back in with a rototiller. So every year I do that. This lawn boy's old, it's beat. It's got a great blade. And that's pretty much what I use it for. Normally, I try to find a spot for it. But last year, with the multiple snow blowers and all the issues we had, and then at some point we got hit so bad that there was just no way I was going to get to a lot of that, right? I had enough to do with snow blowers and people bringing stuff over, and it was emergency control room, control center type shit going on over here. This is what happens, and just let me get you out of here on this. So not only can you get water in the carburetor, but you're going to see something that I've seen before. It goes into the engine, and there's a couple of pathways, and you'll see a little bit more in this video how it gets in through the vent tube. But it can get in through the intake as well. As it comes down, if it gets in through the carburetor or what have you, or even the muffler, it can come in through and sit behind a closed valve, and that'll screw stuff up. It can jam your valve up. It can rot the valve seat. Well, if the valve is open, even just a little bit, it can wind up inside the combustion chamber. So anyway, that fortunately was not the case in this one, but this is another 2 scenarios that can happen to you. And people ask me all the time, Arch, I don't understand how the water gets in, or, some people, one of the young ladies I do work for, she said to me, take the cap at the end of the year. And this is true for most, but not all gas tanks. She's like, take the cap, right? And put a little bit of saran wrap or a plastic bag, whatever, over the top, and then screw the fuel tank cap down. And that will help, for sure, on tanks that allow you to do that. That will help. I thought that was a brilliant idea. So that's one idea, but sometimes you got to put a bag over your whole machine. I know a lot of people don't like to do that because they might have critters get up underneath there. Pick your poison. The critters getting up underneath, or the water getting inside, and you got to take it all apart for that reason. Let's get to this video. See you guys in a minute. Yeah, this is the machine I built years ago, and I did the valves on this, and the valve guides are shot, and the valve seats have receded down. I had to grind the tips of the valves, and I was showing how it was reversion and recession. So if the valves have receded, that's valve recession, and then it suffered from serious reversion, which is where the valves don't close properly, and the combustion gases pressures back up through the intake tube, through the carburetor, and revert backwards, and I showed how it was pissing out the throat of the carburetor. But what it's used for, because it's got the heavy blade, it's mostly just the body I wanted to save. I wanted to see with the motor. I wanted to make some videos on that silly stuff. We're going to try to find a motor for it this year. But it's really just used to grind up the garden area or any other area where I want to get it down real low. I just put some good used Takumi oil in it because it needed some. Notice all the sediment sat for months. So even though it was good used oil, when it wasn't used very long, these older motors, right, they get sediment and crap in the bottom, so I got to change your oil. That's the crap that winds up sitting on the bottom of your crankcase, unless you've changed it a lot from the time it was new. So I'm just going to pull the plug. I blew out in here. It was all nasty in here and everything. It's been sitting out. Usually I keep it somewhere, or I shove it in the garage or the shed for the winter. It also needs another throttle cable. I think this one's shot. Kill cable, engine bail. It still works, but it's too short. So let's just pull that plug. I got gas in it. Like I said, I put some of the oil in it. take a look at the plug and clean it, because she burns oil too, right? She's a mess. But we can keep the top and all the other parts, and like I said, I want to hold on to the body and that nice tank and, you know, a few other things that I did. I took some of my special tranny sauce, put it down the throat of the carburetor and the plug hole, tilt it backwards and pull it over a bunch of times. That'll give it a little lubrication, loosen up some of the junk that's in there. As you can see, you see it. Yeah, she's dark. Let me get the little light. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah. Let's clean that up.
Moments later.
Yeah, there you go. It's all cleaned out. Cleaned up nice. Decent plug. You know, it gets fouled quick, but it doesn't get used much. So fouled much, but not used much. By the way, here is that knife that I was talking about. Let me take some pictures as well. So on this edge here, that's an edge. It's sharp. This is bent, I think. And there's an edge at the tip. But this section is flat. And it's a little dirty. Let me grab some shots of it as well. All right, air filter's not great. I blew it out. I don't know what filter this is, but I like that housing. That's the commercial housings. Like I said, I put some of the tranny sauce mix in there, which is flammable. But let's just dump a little bit of fuel in through the throat. We'll bottle feed it. No choke. Let's go midway. I'm not sure which way goes. Let's prime it. Maybe it'll pull some fuel in. Not hearing much. You might need to put more in. Should be enough. There's a mason jar's worth, but it's a big tank. Let's just get ready. Yeah, she's gonna smoke. All right, let me go get a strap for the handlebars so I can hold it back. Yeah, I think I'm about mid-throttle. All right, let's bottle feed it. A little water in there. Tiny drops.
One eternity later.
I see water. I don't think it's coming from here because this has been sealed. Let's pull the bowl in a minute. All right, let's do an in situ carb clean. Step one. All right. Let's just hose this down a little bit. We just want to get rid of some of the crap that's on here. Because if you're going to open it, you don't want to open it and then have crap go right back in. What the hell's that all about? You don't want to do that. Let's just get in here. We might take this off, but we'll see. We don't really want to break gaskets. We don't, you know, it might have to be take up the whole carb. So we don't know. Oh, carb rebuild in a coffee can. Well, she's all like new now. Hold on. Let's flush it. Let's see what we got. I turned the pet cock off. My pet cock. Let's see, it's just going to leak out a little bit. That's okay. That's what we want. Oh, it's a little stuck there. I mean, I ran it last year, but it's been sitting out all year. There we go. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of schmutz in there. For sure. And it's a little stuck up on the gasket. It's stuck up, fellas. Let's see. You know, poke that out inside. It looks like it's pretty good. I think there was just, I saw water coming up. So there's water in the bowl. It just happens. I mean, the humidity and the fog and the rain and the snow, tons of snow. Yeah. Yeah, see? Yeah, that's nasty. So she got in. So another thing we can do, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it on its feet. Yeah, there was water in there for sure. That's why it won't run. It'll be fine. Let's turn it on its feet. Let me back you up. Give that a little bit of a blow. And then we'll turn the cock on and let a little bit flow out. Gentle. Just a gentle. Make sure that's purged. All right, let me put it on its feet. Hold on. Oh yeah. It should come out. Might need to put more gas in it. There it goes. Yeah, tickle it. Yeah, let's get some more gas in it. The tank was dry, and it's a fresh can of gas. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we gotta get some more gas in that too. Yeah, it's starting to come clean. Oh yeah, make sure there's no crap in there. All right, shut it off. We'll clean the jet, and we'll clean that bowl. Give everything a good wash. Ah, fresh rebuild. Well, the gasket looks like it's decent. That's nice and clean. It's kind of stuck here. So that's all clean. That's clean. Now the skill's going to be in just kind of making sure we get the gasket on. And it's good that it's it's like perfectly formed. Let's make sure I'm around back. That's good. Yeah, that'll work. As long as that's still sealing. I think that'll work. Looks like it's sealing up all the way around. Well, I gotta get my fingers in position. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, the crap went up in through the emulsion tube, but it didn't sit there like that, I don't think. But we'll find out. Yeah, it's going good. That's in there. All right, let me turn it right side up. We'll give it a test. I always forget which way the choke goes. This pull cord's ready to break, but that's okay. We were about midway. Let's see if we have any pee-pee. Nope, not getting anything yet. Cock's open. The cock's swaying. Oh, starting to see a little bit. Let's give it some help. All right, go grab the other little camera and let me set up and we'll do a little chopping and chomping. Yeah, we'll grind all of this up. Just a couple of things I have to avoid. And I got the shells out. We'll avoid that. And I'll pick that up later. That's steam. There's still a lot of water in it. It's in the engine. Let it run for a bit. It's coming from the vent. I've seen this before. The vent tube off to the carb, so now just let it waste out. All right, here goes.
Eventually.
All right. That's good enough for now. It'll have to be done again when I go to rototill. Well, that's good. Nice and clean.
Jared Wiener!
Hi, Wiener.
There goes Marley.
Uh-oh. The old geezer did well. No, it was puffing smoke and everything. We'll find a new motor for it this year. We'll do some shopping. I got plenty of them. But we'll set aside something. We'll set it up and set it aside. Had a lot of water. It just gets in. Leave your crap outside and see what happens. I fixed this before it broke. Still probably all messed up. Yeah, I just had to pull off that hose, let it vent to just outside and not let it suck water in from the crankcase. I wonder if the oil got milky. I don't think it inhaled that much water. No, it's just dark and gloomy. You know, that's what I use a lot of the extra oil, what I call good, good used oil. Let's turn that off for now, though. So Big Mike was here. He hurt his hand. Well, I think one of his children, his son or whatever, was using a lawnmower he had upstate or whatever it was. Ran over something. Mike went to pull it, and it pulled back. I think he said he has the bag upstate. But yeah, he tried to fix it, jammed the key in, pulled the flywheel off. But the blade is mangled, and I don't know, something else happened. Murray. Yeah, let me show you the blade, but these are the the EX series. I think this is the smaller one, 163 cc, but it has the bigger crank on it. Here, let me show you the blade. Yeah, talk about mess. It's not as bad as it was the other day, but there's still crap everywhere. So, I'm just about done with this guy. I just rinsed off some of the spilled oil. I walked right past it. I didn't think to show you this, but yeah, it's done for now. All the electric, everything's been gone through. Like I said, I spilled some oil. We'll blow it off tomorrow. I don't feel like doing it now. We gotta finish it Monday. There's a few things to do. So yeah, you think that blade's a little bit borked? He's like, did I bend the crank? Well, this one has the bigger crankshaft. See, and that's a good blade that I had laying around. Yeah, it's got the bigger crank. So he says it might have been. I think it's the blade. Personally, that's a big crank. So I have faith. But yeah, you can just like, here, take it. So I'll hold on to that until I get a chance. You know, you get like 50, 60 bucks for a push without a bag. If it's a really new one like that with a bag, you can, on the right time of year, you'll get 125 up to 150. It depends. So yeah, everything is filthy, dirty, a mess from those idiots blowing over there in the field and cemetery and lake. Asshole, right? With all this dust coming in, it goes in the shop and people's homes, all over everything, and he's going to keep doing that. It's just going to keep going for hours. This is what I mean. This is bullshit. Blowing all of that nice topsoil into everybody's yard and into my shop. I've had enough. I'm out of here. Yeah, it's a little jammed up. I'm going to need to use it again, so we're going to let it kick around outside. So before I use it again, like the blade isn't even that dull. Like it really isn't. I might sharpen the blade this time real quick, and then I always blunt the blades a little bit. Just, you know, as the grinder flapper wheel is decelerating, I just blunt it and get nice and sharp, razor sharp, and then blunt it. Why? Because they're hardened and they're brittle. You know, they're hardened blades, especially around this side here, and they get brittle and they'll chip. Notice there's no chips. There's these little chips, but think about what I'm doing. So then, you know, as it's decelerating, like usually like a 40 grit, a 36, 40 grit's fine. 40 grit becomes like closer to like a 60 grit in no time. And all of these wheels too, they need, so I'll clean it. I also put the tube back, which is kind of beat, but that's a special tube, might want to get another one. And all of these wheels they have, like even Mike was looking, he's like, oh my goodness, look at that. Yeah, huh? They got crease fittings, so we'll find a motor for it. Like I said, it's still the beginning of the year, so I'm just going to let it kick around for now. I shut the valve off, you know, the gas valve off, and, you know, I wanted to keep the deck in nice shape and put everything together in one spot. And we'll reuse the tins, we just need a core. But that's it for now. Well, talk about mulching mower, right? Mulching machine. Yeah, I put this thing to task. So like I said, let me get you out of here. So like I said, if you want to cover your mower, just cover the engine over. I think it's still a good idea. I did that to the big engine on the back of my Snapper Rider. I didn't cover the whole thing. Well, it kind of covers up a little bit of it. But my bigger concern is that, like, I bought a, where is it? It's around here somewhere. Hold on. So like an idiot. So I put a video out last spring on some hose bibs and stuff. And, well, it's missing pieces and everything. Yeah, because with 7 degrees, I forgot to open the valves. And water froze and busted off the fitting. And I got to buy another one. And, you know, now they're more expensive. So I had to find another way temporarily because how many things can I buy? Listen, the water runs in, you leave it outside, it's going to get in something. I don't know. Maybe if it freezes, it could break something. Better that you cover it and not have the water damage issues. I don't know what to tell you about the mices and whatever else that might get in there and find a nice spot. Pick your poison, like I said. Now I got to replace this. So, and that's freezing water damage. And like I said, I couldn't get out there and really do anything. I forgot. I walked past it. You know, you get overwhelmed. I think if we just develop certain routines, it burns a lot of oil. I can smell it. You can see some of the smoke coming out of it. You know what it reminds me a little bit of? It burns a lot of oil. It reminds me of my days on mini bikes and the old Clinton and Briggs engines or whatever, or even Tecumseh engines. And they burned oil, or they weren't always tuned right. And you're out there in the farm going, and you could smell it, right? I just love that smell, but it's too much. We'll find a motor for it. The tank was empty. The tank was clean. And I tend to run these things out. That's why you saw a little bit of that gack in the bottom. I'll put a little bit of two-stroke in. On my better machines that I care more about, I'll run a little bit of stool softener in there, right? A little bit of Metamucil or something. I'll put different additives in, plus a little two-stroke, a little tranny, sauce fluid, whatever, top cylinder lube. All that helps to coat any residuals and stop some of the damage. And I do stabilize my fuel. I keep fuel for a year. I buy 93 octane. I keep about 20 gallons or so, roughly. I do try to put stabilizers and stuff in it. It helps. But then again, my stuff is all sealed. I keep it in the shed or in here. And I try to run that mix in. I know some guys that fog their machines. If you're getting into that envelope, now you're probably protecting it a little bit better. You see all the machines I have. I don't have as many right now, but I still have a lot out there. And there's just no way, a lot of us that do this, that you're going to be able to cater to everything. Something's got to give. I completely understand it. So if you screw up like me and a lot of other people and my customers, because that's pretty much what we do at the beginning of the year. Carburetor cleaning, removing water from gas tanks. I just put fuel in it. Yeah, but you left the crap in the bottom and that was full of water. You went to the gas station, you put fuel in it, and then it all stirred up. Maybe you got one good tank of gas, and then you let your can settle. The water settled out, and then you poured mostly water in. So in this case, it was up in the engine, it was in the area where the baffling is for the crankcase valve, positive crankcase valve, whatever. There's a chamber in there, and that's where your valves are. And it can go, and there's a hole too, a drain back hole that'll go down into your engine oil. Yeah, it can get bad. In this case, it is what it is. I keep a lot of this old oil or used oil around for engines that I get, and they've been sitting out. Maybe they've been thrown out. I get a lot of disposed stuff, and I go through it. It seems like it's got compression, and I'll go through the rest of it, but I could see that it's milky or gray. And what I'll do is I'll dump that oil, and I'll put filtered. Notice I like to use my filter, so I'll use this. So I tell people this all the time. So paint filters, you can get at Home Depot or anywhere. They hold up to gasoline and oil, and I try to filter it when I put it in the container, and then I filter it when I put it in the engine. And I'll run that. Some people try kerosene or whatever. Sometimes I don't get a lot of money for these things or the repairs. When somebody's really beat up a machine, you're never really sure. Okay, so I'll put oil in, that's good used oil. It'll go in there. I'll run the machine for a little while, and it'll remove a lot of the milk and the garbage. I'll dump that oil, and everything is running okay. I don't hear any weird noises. Well, then I'll put real oil in it, and it goes back to the customer, or I sell it. And it's happened to me. So hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Archer's Garage.